Hello, welcome to the Opinionistics. I'm your host, John Malone. In this episode, don't have any other co-hosts for whatever reason, I guess. Introducing from Detroit, Michigan, Mark M. Bello.
Hi, how are you?
Great. So, what is it you do for a living?
Well, for a living, that's a loaded question. I can't say I make a living at what I do, but for a living, I practiced law for 40 years. Post retirement from the practice of law, I decided to write a book about an experience I had as a lawyer, and that book turned out to begin a career, if you will, as a legal themed novelist. And that's what I've been doing for the last 7, 8 years.
Ah, very nice. And what books you have written or yet to be written so far?
I have a few that have yet to be written so far, or they're in the process of being completed and edited and published. But I have written so far 8 Zachary Blake legal thrillers, 2 children's social justice and safety picture books, a Jewish cookbook. Surprise, surprise. How that fits in, I don't know. And a cozy legal mystery. So I took the legal thriller genre and the cozy mystery genre, and I combined them and created this, what I call a cozy legal mystery.
Ah, interesting twist. Very good. And
I'm having fun.
fantastic. So, and what was your experience as a lawyer been like?
The experience as a lawyer who writes, was that the question?
Well, look, you're a lawyer, but well, before you went to writing, you've worked as a proper lawyer. I was wondering what
Correct.
your experience is like as an actual lawyer.
The My practice was basically a standard, if you will, a garden variety personal injury practice where I handled auto accidents, premises liability cases, a few malpractice cases, a few police brutality cases. The case that resulted in the first book was a case against the Catholic Church where a priest sexually abused 2 children and then tried to cover up the crime. The result was what I call the case of my life, and their behavior was so abhorrent to me that I thought someday I'll write a book about this. And that bucket list item, if you want to call it that, uh, resulted in my first novel, which is called Betrayal of Faith.
All right then. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
If I could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? That's an interesting question. I think you're the first person to ever ask me that question. I like where I live. I have 9 grandchildren, and they all live within 20 miles of me. So unless my grandchildren and my children moved out of town, I think I'm very happy where I am.
Okay, cool, cool.
If we're talking about weather or something like that, Hawaii, or although you got to worry about things like what happened there recently, and um, hurricanes and cyclones, and every tropic, every climate rather, has its problems. And Michigan can be cold in the winter, but you can always go somewhere for the winter. So uh, the number one value of mine is family, and my family's here. So I don't think I would choose to live anywhere else.
Okay, that's good. If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use it for?
What would I use 500 acres of land for? Hmm. Are you going to edit out the pauses and the hmms? uh,
No, no, I was just waiting for your answer.
um, the I don't know. I probably something that I don't know enough about farming or climate or any of that, but I would probably use the land as something that would benefit the climate, benefit mankind, whether it be to grow organic produce, whether it be something that benefited the climate around the land. It would probably be something like that. And given that I'm probably completely inept at working the land, I might even consider donating the land to somebody who can do some of the things I just talked about.
Ah, okay then. Yeah, I would have done something similar, although it would be more of a constructed city kind of, with shops and apartments slash offices, multi-purpose buildings. So everything's all put into one place, and everyone could go get anywhere they want to within a walking distance, and as well as strong transport, of course.
That would be kind of neat. Uh, uh, build my own city. That that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
An all inclusive uh, utopian city. That would be cool.
yes, absolutely. Would you rather speak
Yeah,
all languages or
not bad.
talk to animals?
So yeah, okay.
Wait, did you hear what I just asked you?
I thought it was a statement, not a question. Hit
No,
me
it
again.
was not. No, I just asked you. Would you rather speak all languages or talk to animals?
I would rather talk to animals. That would be extremely neat. First of all, speaking different languages is something other people can do for you. So you can bring a translator along with you everywhere you go. Speaking to animals would be an absolutely one of a kind, unique experience. So I would choose the animals.
Sweet. Do you have any pets?
I don't have any pets any longer. I had pets. I had dogs all my life until the last one passed away. My children all have pets, dogs. My oldest child lives on the equivalent of a farm, so she has two dogs, a cat. She has barn cats. I think that she might have more than one cat. A pig, a couple of goats. Uh, they're having fun. The kids are learning how to take care of animals and work a farm, so it's kind of neat.
Okay, that's kind of cool. What could you
It's
do a 40? Sorry, go on.
no, it's a neat place
Okay, that's
and,
nice.
and a good experience for them.
Fabulous. What could you do a 40-minute presentation on without any preparation?
Social justice, my books. I could do what we're doing now without being asked questions. I'm pretty sure I could do 14 minutes about the various topics and importance of those topics that I write about.
Nice. What has taken you the longest to get good or decent at?
What has taken me the longest? I heard that part. What was the second part?
What has taken you the longest to get good or decent at?
That's an interesting question. I love these questions. They're different than almost any interviewer has asked me. I would say I would say good or decent at. I would say I'm still learning to be a father and a grandfather. I became a pretty decent lawyer within 7, 8 years. I became a decent writer rather quickly. I wouldn't say I'm. Uh, I could be better, but you asked the question was decent, not excellent. So I would say I'm still learning how to be the best father and grandfather I could be.
Fantastic.
And I would add to that the best human being I can be. I think we're all capable of being better.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the one thing you can't live without?
Family, my family.
Indeed. What superpower could do you wish you could have?
The ability to fly.
Ah, classic.
I would like to fly from place to place.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I suppose you could say immortality or, you know, be the man of steel, so to speak. But from the standpoint of separating out superpowers that the various heroes that we grew up watching and listening to, especially at my age, I'm 71, by the way. So I go back to when Superman was on television, um, and Batman was Adam West. But flying it would be neat.
Fantastic. What's the weather like where you are?
It's a I live in the Midwest. If you've been to New York, the weather's similar here to the East Coast, other than you don't get nor'easters, and the storms are much worse in the East and on the coast than they are in the Midwest. It gets very cold here in the wintertime. It doesn't snow as much as it used to, so I can tell you firsthand that there seems to be something to this climate change notion. It doesn't get as cold as it used to get in Michigan, um, but it does get for as long. It doesn't get as cold for as long. You get very cold days like the old days, but we don't get the huge snowstorms we used to get. We don't get torrential downpours like we used to get. The weather has become much more mild, surprisingly, consistently mild, not terribly hot in the summertime, although there's a few days here and there, but and not terribly cold in the wintertime. Spring and fall are extremely nice seasons where the uh, flowers and trees bloom in the spring, and you get fall colors and a transition from summer to fall to winter in the fall, and the colors and the uh, scenery just becomes beautiful.
Ah, sweet.
Michigan's a neat state,
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's nice. I've
and
heard a lot about.
we have more lakes than anybody else in America.
Ah, okay, that's cool. I've heard a lot about the Midwest. Some days get really hot, other days get really cold. It's very wide the temperature range. I've heard.
Not consistently. It can get
Yes.
very hot. It can get very cold, but it you won't see these consistent like you read about Texas and they have 50, 60, 70 consecutive 100-degree days. We might get a 100-degree day here, but that would never happen consistently. Same thing with cold. You might get a sub-zero day, you might get a sub-zero week at the most, but you won't get a consistent pattern of sub-zero weather for many, many, many days like they would in, let's say, Minnesota
Oh, okay.
or in Canada for that matter.
Oh yeah, Canada. I've heard a lot about Canada's snow. Falling, falling, falling. Sprinkle, sprinkle. But yeah, it's crazy.
Detroit, where I live, by the way, is if you go over a bridge or you go through a tunnel about a mile and a half long, and you're in another country. Windsor, Canada,
Oh yeah.
Ontario.
Ontario, yes. Very good.
You can see it, for instance, from the Detroit River shoreline. Across the river is Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Okay, that's cool.
which is a neat little town, by the way.
Yeah, it sure is. If you were chosen to be a colonist for a new habitable planet, would you take the opportunity?
I've been a columnist. I've written for a couple of legal publications and a national political online newspaper. So yes, I would absolutely take the opportunity to write articles about the topics I feel passionate about. Um, I'm a left leaning Democrat, and uh, the issues that are important to Democrats typically are important to me. Which is why, by the way, my books are books about social justice typically, and how the legal system treats people or should treat people if it works correctly. And in my books, Zachary Blake, the hero or the protagonist of my books, makes it his mission to make sure justice is enforced, both on the criminal side and on the civil side. The civil side of the laws where I practiced when I practiced law. I was not a criminal lawyer.
Ah, all right then. Do you prefer headphones or earbuds?
I prefer headphones. I have trouble keeping earbuds in my ear, and I don't hear well, as you probably noticed from the fact that I couldn't hear some of your questions.
Oh yeah.
So headphones work better for me.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. When things break, would you fix them or replace them?
There's another question I didn't hear. Say it again.
When things break, would
When
you
things
fix
when
it?
things break,
When you do you would you fix it or would you replace it?
fix or repaint,
Replace. You know,
replace. Okay, got it. Um, I'm going to answer that two ways. I would fix it, but I have a wife who would replace it. And I'm a yes, dear kind of husband. So I would probably defer to her and replace it.
oh,
I subscribe to Happy Wife, Happy Life. So she would not accept the quality of a piece that was broken and fixed as well as she would a piece that was replaced. Having said that, there is the issue of cost. If it would cost an arm and a leg to replace it, and fixing it was at least decent, where the defect was hardly noticeable, perhaps we could get away with fixing it. It's not necessarily an either or fixed question.
still good. Fabulous. If you were to create your very own job title, what would it be?
I did that already. A social justice novelist. I,
Fantastic.
I created that my own job title.
And it sounds great. Have you ever experienced any paranormal activities?
I wouldn't say so. Has anything unusual ever happened to me? Have I heard stories? Have I gotten stuck at a light and an accident occurs? 5 seconds before or after the had I gone through the light instead of stopping at the yellow, I might have been in the accident. Things like that have happened, but I wouldn't say anything paranormal. Para, paranormal, right? That's the word,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, I thought I saw a flying object, an unidentified flying object once, but it turned out to be a plane.
Ah, interesting. If you could turn any activity into an Olympic sport, what would you have a good chance at winning a medal for?
At 71, none. what I'd like to see as a Olympic sport, I don't know if they've done it yet, is pickleball. I enjoy playing pickleball and tennis. Um, it's my primary physical activity right now, and pickleball is a lot of fun. And I've watched it on ESPN a few times. It's an interesting sport to watch as well. It never occurred to me that it would be, but it is. And if it's not an Olympic sport yet, it will be, and I'd certainly like it to be.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Have you played pickleball?
I've never heard of it.
Write it down. It's a lot of fun. It's tennis. I would say it's a combination of tennis and maybe ping pong. It's played with a wiffle ball and a hard paddle on a court about a quarter the size of a tennis court.
Ah, okay. That's
It's a lot.
interesting.
It's a lot of fun.
Cool, cool.
For a senior, there's not as much movement required as there is with tennis, if you consider the different sizes of the courts.
All right then. That's interesting. That's good to know. If you could erase one past experience, what would it be?
If I could erase one toxic
Past experience.
past experience,
Yes.
oh my God, I've made so many mistakes in my life. I would. I'm not going to elaborate, but I would eliminate some business decisions I made in my life that had negative consequences, not just for me but for others. Other than that, I've had a very nice, productive, happy life, and as I indicated, I didn't indicate how many children I have. I have four, and I'm going to in October, November, depending on when the baby decides, I'm going to have my 10th grandchild. So I'm very blessed in term as somebody who was raised by loving parents in a family I valued, and I've taken the example my parents set, and I have a uh, lovely family, and the children of my children are wonderful as well. So I'm having a good time watching my family grow. I wouldn't change that for the world.
That's great. What is your favorite quote?
Justice, justice shalt thou pursue, from the Bible.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I think it's Deuteronomy.
Oh, okay.
I'm not positive, but I think it is.
Okay.
Old Testament stuff. I'm a
Ah,
Jewish
yes.
boy.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool. What has taken you the longest? No way, I already asked you that.
Yes, you
How
did.
much how much time do you spend on the internet?
It depends on what I'm doing. If I'm researching for a book, I spend a lot of time on the internet. If I'm not, just checking my email from time to time. I spend a lot of time on the computer because I write using my computer, but I don't spend a lot of time on the internet unless I'm researching
Okay, I can
or
see
or
that.
doing something like this. This is spending time on the internet.
Okay.
I've given a lot of interviews on the World Wide Web, so I guess you could call this quote using the internet
Ah, yes, of
unquote.
course. How did you spend your last birthday?
Well, I hate to keep being redundant, but I would spend it with my family wherever they are, whatever we were doing. I would want to be surrounded by family.
Fabulous. What kind of music do you often listen to?
I'm a standards kind of guy. I I like other types of music, but I like a single artist, whether it be male or female, with a beautiful voice, singing a uh, solo, a song solo. It could be, you know, Barbara Streisand type music or Frank Sinatra type music or Engelbert Humperdinck. It could be a folk song like Joan Baez or Bob Dylan. It could be Margaritaville. Uh, Unfortunately, we just lost him. Um, but a solo singer singing a beautiful song,
Ah,
and
yes.
and slow better than fast. I like
Yeah, of
I,
course.
I like slower uh, uh, music where you can understand the lyrics.
Absolutely.
I always have, by the way. When everybody was listening to rock back in the '60s and '70s, I was listening to Sinatra and Andy Williams and and Streisand, as I indicated. Olivia Newton-John. I'm in love with Olivia Newton-John. I went to a concert and she sang "I Honestly Love You" and looked right at me, and I fell in love immediately.
Ah, okay.
What a beautiful song that is.
Oh, yes. What is? What was the?
I'm a shower singer, by the way. I also like to sing. So
Hmm. Okay. What was the strangest dream you ever had?
the strangest what I've ever had dream.
Strangest dream you ever
That,
had?
well, I have trouble recalling my dreams, so I'm going to pass. I can't. I'm not saying I have no dreams that I don't that I remembered at the spot at the time, but I don't have any memories of specific dreams that I could recall. I know, for instance, I've had a few dreams about my father and my mother after they passed away, and it I would say to you that as someone who loved his parents, it's nice to dream about them. I hear their voice, I see their faces, I see them alive, and I recall having done so, but I don't recall specifics about the dream.
Ah, that's all right. Yeah, I there are times I don't recall my dreams, but yeah, it's pretty normal. It's relatable, I guess.
I've never had such a remarkable dream that I remembered it and lived to tell the tale, so to speak, or woke up in a sweat and in shock. That never happened to me.
Yeah, of course.
I one exception,
Okay.
because I just as we're talking, I just remembered this. I remember waking up suddenly from a dream where I was falling, and
Oh.
you're gonna hit the ground and die, and a psychologist and psychiatrist will tell you, I believe, I could be wrong about this because I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I remember it when I recounted the experience that a person will never die in his own dream. So what happens is you wake up in the midst of falling, thinking you're about to die. And I would say that's my most terrifying memory from waking up in the middle of a dream.
Oh, yes. I think I remember had that dream once too. Where I was falling and it's like, oh my gosh. And then yeah, I would just woke up like, oh,
And
okay,
you
it's just all a dream.
and,
No big
you
deal.
wake up and you wake up and thank God you you woke up.
Yes, exactly. That's mad.
But
Well,
nothing paranormal or anything like that.
nah, yeah, nothing scary. It's just
No,
poof
just
out of nowhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
a
Well,
rabid dog chasing you or something like that. That. Although I don't know that I ever dreamed that. I'm just I could see something like that.
yeah, me
But I say
too.
I have a specific memory of the falling experience that I described to you.
Yeah, indeed. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having you out now, Mark, talking about working as a lawyer at one point, and of course being an award-winning author, writing 9 thrillers. It's and everything else has been fabulous.
Well, I thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I enjoyed it.
And
It was a unique interview, different than most of the other ones I have participated in. So
yes,
that was kind of neat.
I would certainly say the same thing. And until next time, stay opinionated.